Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 5 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. The wind has died down a little bit. We got a little bit of a breeze, but you can see the fires burning well. It's I want to say it's like 60 degrees out, so it's right on the verge. If it gets a little breezy or the sun gets blocked like it is now, I might have to get the smoking jacket on, but I actually brought it with me, so that's what's sitting over here. Hey, I'm going to read to you today from the Bible. So we're going to have a fireside chat that surrounds the Bible a little bit. So if that's not your thing, I certainly understand that. Either GTFO or just come along for the ride and absorb the conversation. But I'm warning you up front. This is like minute one, right? We're going to talk about the cigar here for a minute, and then we're going to head into the Bible. If that's not your thing, I get it. Just you've been warned. So Fresca has cut my contract, so this is the last Fresca sponsored event tonight. Thank God. We'll be moving on to various flavored ginger ales for a while. I'm not looking forward to that much, but pretty soon, I don't know, another couple of weeks of this and we'll be done. So guys, what are we smoking tonight? We're smoking the Partagas Black. This is one of my original favorites, and it's definitely the boldest of the cigars I smoke, but I like that. It's a little bit in your face. It's big. It's a 60 ring. It's very dark, very spicy, very bold. But at least I got away from the Davidoffs finally. I was going to run that whole box through if I wasn't careful. So anyway, Partagas Black tonight. All right, I thought I'd spare you the toasting of the cigar so it's lit nicely. It's punch cut like normal. It's kind of become my choice of cut is the punch. And I've complained that sometimes these are wrapped almost too tight to the point where the draw is not good. This one is wrapped perfectly, almost a little loose, but the draw is absolutely perfect. Ooh, that is nice. I'm, however, not going to spare you from the touch-up. Needs a little touch-up. There's enough breeze out here to just plays havoc with the light. I think we're good now. Guys, we'll do a couple of you mentioned, oh man, I'm going to miss Fireside Chats when it gets too warm, but we're a ways away from that. I'm a week away from flying to Wyoming, so I'll try to do these firesides until next Wednesday. And then I'll probably miss next Thursday because I'll be, by the time I fly to Denver and have lunch with my son, pick up Ranger and drive the 6 hours to Wyoming. I don't know if I'll do a fireside chat or not out there, but that's where fireside chats were born. And so if you're my OGs or if you've gone back and watched any of those first few videos, that's what they'll be. There'll be fireside chats sitting in front of that big giant fireplace. I'm actually looking forward to that. So we'll be doing fireside chats in Wyoming till the end of, gosh, like the 20th of April. Then when we get back here, last few days of April, we'll have to see what the weather's doing. Usually by then it's warmer, but it might not be too warm to do a fireside chat. We'll see it. I enjoy these as much as any of my videos, so we'll find a way to do them. All right, you guys, this is where I'm going to read you a little bit. God is currently trying to tell me I'm trying to juggle too many things, and maybe I should just focus on His Word because everything's blown around. So being pig-headed, I'm going to try it anyway. So guys, I'm going to read to you like I have been in the past few times. I'm going to be reading to you from the book of Ezekiel. And if you remember, Ezekiel's the third major prophet in the Old Testament. There's I believe the Old Testament ends up running you through 16 prophets, but the big three are Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, and in that order. And as each prophet fails to wake up the kingdom of Israel and Judah, I think God sent an ever increasingly more aggressive message. And so we're in the most aggressive of the three major prophets right now. So I'm going to be reading from Ezekiel 33. I'm going to read, it looks like, I don't know, I've got in my notes the first 20 verses. And there's a point to it, and I'll put some emphasis in while I read, and then we'll talk about why I chose to read this today. So this is Ezekiel chapter 33, basically verses 1 through 20. All right, Ezekiel 33. And the word of Yah came to me saying, Son of man, that's what God is calling Ezekiel. Son of man, speak to the children of your people, and you shall say to them, when I bring a sword upon a land, and the people of the land shall take a man from their borders, and shall make him their watchman, and he sees the sword coming upon the land, and shall blow with the shofar, and shall warn the people, then whoever shall hear the voice of the shofar, and shall not take warning, if the sword comes and takes him away, his blood is on his own head. He heard the voice of the shofar, but he did not take warning. His blood is on himself, but he who takes warning shall deliver his being. But if the watchman sees the sword coming, and shall not blow with the shofar, and the people should not be warned, and the sword comes and takes away any being from among them, he is taken away in his crookedness, and his blood I require at the watchman's hand. And you, son of man, I have made you a watchman for the house of Israel, and you shall hear a word from my mouth, and you shall warn them for me. When I say to the wrong, O wrong one, you shall certainly die, and you have not spoken to warn the wrong from his way, the wrong one shall die in his crookedness, and his blood I require at your hand. So he's making Ezekiel responsible. If you don't warn the people and I go kill them all, and they weren't warned, that is your fault. I've never smoked a cigar while reading the Bible. God continues on to Ezekiel. But when you have warned the wrong to turn from his way, and he has not turned from his way, he shall die in his crookedness. But you have delivered your being. And you, O Son of Man, say to the house of Israel, this is what you have said. If our transgressions and our sins lie upon us, and we pine away in them, how then shall we live? This is the second part of the reading I really want you to understand. The answer is, say to them, as I live, declares Master Yah, I have no pleasure in the death of the wrong, but that the wrong turn from his way and live. Turn back from your evil ways. For why should you die, O house of Israel? And you, O Son of Man, say to the children of your people, the righteousness of the righteous man shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. And as for the wrongness of the wrong, he shall not stumble because of it in the day that he turns from his wrong. And the righteous shall not be able to live because of his righteousness in the day that he sins. When I say to the righteous that he shall live, and he has trusted in his righteousness, and then shall do unrighteously, none of his righteousness shall be remembered. But because of his unrighteousness that he has done, he shall die. And again, when I say to the wrong, you shall certainly die. If he turns from his sin and does right and righteousness, if the wrong restores the pledge, gives back what he has stolen, and walks in the laws of life without doing crookedness, he shall certainly live, he shall not die. None of his sins which he committed shall be remembered against him. He has done right and righteousness, he shall certainly live. And the children of your people have said, the way of Yah is not fair, but it is their way which is not fair. All right, we're almost done with the first reading. When the righteous turns from his righteousness and does unrighteousness, he shall die because of it. But when the wrong turns from his wrongness and does right and righteousness, he shall live because of it. And you have said, the way of Yah is not fair, O house of Israel. I shall judge every one of you according to his way. So my wife asked me a question during our coffee time this morning. She asked, do you think sometimes church picks very specific verses to read, maybe leaving out other verses, and it skews the point in the church service? And I used what I just read you as an example of that. I think lots of times the church will read this passage about, if the wrong restores the pledge, gives back what he has stolen, and walks in the laws of life without doing crookedness, he shall certainly live, he shall not die. Meaning, if people who've done wrong, ask for forgiveness and live the way they're supposed to live, their prior sins have been forgotten. But I think what I've almost never heard read in church is the prior clause. The righteousness of righteous man shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. And as for the wrongness of the wrong, that goes back to the wrong guy. When I say to the righteous that he shall live in his trust in his righteousness and shall do unrighteousness, none of his righteousness shall be remembered. Because of his righteousness that he has done, he shall die. So the righteous, it works both ways, but I don't think we ever hear about, if you're a righteous person for a lot of your life, but you all of a sudden turn bad, that prior righteousness is also forgotten. For some reason, the church only wants to read about individuals who choose to live badly and then have an epiphany moment and then live in righteousness. They get judged and they get to live. We never hear about people who live good lives, and then for some reason, Breaking Bad was a great TV series. If you break bad, your prior righteousness is forgotten and you are judged on your unrighteousness. I just thought I found that interesting, that I read this morning and my wife asked me the question, so I thought I would read that passage to you here. So that's the first reading of our little fireside chat, and the point of why I chose it. So we'll move on now to the second reading. Okay, guys, the second reading still is in chapter 33, and it's verses 30 through 33. And again, God is talking directly to Ezekiel at this point. Remember, God calls Ezekiel son of man. So here we go. Verse 30. As for you, son of man, the children of your people are talking about you beside the walls and in the doors of the houses. And they speak to each other, each saying to his brother, please come and hear what the word is that comes from Yah. And they come to you as people do, and they sit before you as my people, and they hear your words, but they do not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, their hearts pursue their greedy gain. And see, you are to them as a very lovely song of one who has a beautiful voice and playing well on an instrument. And they hear your words, but they do not do them. And when it comes, see, it shall come, then they shall know that a prophet has been in their midst. So that's the reading. The part I found interesting was, my people, they hear your words, but they do not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their hearts pursue their greedy gain. Right? So people come and hear these things. They come to church, they listen to the pastor, they listen to the priest, and they hear the words, but they don't do them. Their mouths say good things, but they go do bad things. They keep pursuing what they call here their greedy gain. Um, and I think that happens a lot in our world. And see, you are to them a very lovely song, and they hear your words, but they do not do them. And I just think that's pretty critical. If you've been following my channel, I'm a big do guy. I'm an action guy. And I think, those who choose to sit and listen and do nothing different or do nothing with the teaching are destined to be doomed if we're not careful. Or certainly not have a relationship with the Lord. You can sit in his house and listen to his prophet, teacher, or whatever, and then choose to do nothing different in your life that afternoon or that next day. I think that bodes poorly for our future if we behave that way. All right, so that ends the second part. We'll move into the third and last. This is it. So this is chapter 34, and it's really just what I write down. Basically verses 1 through 4. And this is, again, God talking directly to Ezekiel, but he's talking to him about the leadership of the Jewish church in Israel. So he's talking about the leaders of the church when I read this. So verse 1, and the word of Yah came to me, saying, Son of man, prophecy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, Thus said the Master Yah to the shepherds, Woe to the shepherds of Israel who have been feeding themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flock? You eat the fat and you put on the wool. You slaughter the fatlings. You do not feed the flock. You have not strengthened the weak, nor have you healed the sick, nor bound up the broken, nor brought back the straying, nor sought what was lost, but you have ruled them with might and harshness. I just thought it was interesting that he was talking to the church leadership, saying, Hey, you're keeping everything for yourself. You're taking care of yourself, but you're not taking care of my people, who your very charter is to take care of these people, and you're not doing it. I thought that was kind of an interesting thing for God to tell Ezekiel to go speak to the leadership of the church of Israel at the time and say, you're not doing your job, you're not cutting it. In fact, you're doing the exact opposite. You're taking care of yourselves and not my people. So guys, I think in all these cases it's about do. If you hear the word, are you doing anything about it? If you hear the sermon, if you read the book, or however you take in the word of God or Yah or the universe or infinite intelligence, or whoever you consider the higher being to be, I still think these points land, and that is, are you doing anything? Or do we go spend that hour in church and then just keep living life like we always do, not really paying attention to what is being taught us? Are we in positions where we're leaders of our family or leaders of our community or leaders of larger places, and really not taking care of other people? Are we really kind of worried about ourselves and not so much the needy around us? So I just throw that out there. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm asking you, are you doing that? And again, as always, I don't need to know the answer. It's none of my damn business. But you certainly need to think about that and answer the question for yourself. Are you doing as instructed by God? Are you doing as instructed by the Bible? Are you doing as instructed by good church leadership? There's bad church leadership out there too. I don't want to discount that. But again, I don't need a pastor to read this to me. I can read this book, and those passages jump out at you and say, do you hear the word? Is it pretty and beautiful for you to hear? And then you just go on. Are you in a position of leadership and you're really not doing the job of a leader? Anyway, I just it sounds accusatory, sounds preachy, not really meant to. Just meant to wake us up, wake up a different part of our thinking, a different part of our conversation. Pretty much like hopefully all my videos come across is, make us think different, make us talk different. I'm a little worried. I can hear Potter Piper from here in New York yelling at the camera. Potter Piper and I are actually becoming quite close. And one of the things he's teaching me, and he actually kind of got it a beat into my skull a little bit, is you can't read the Bible in a vacuum. It's not meant to be the be all end all. So so I talk to other people. I talk to Potter Piper, um, and I try to read other materials, some that he provides me, and so I'm trying to learn that lesson. But my point is, when I read the Bible, some of this does not need interpretation. I mean, some things do, some things are gray, um, and I know one of the things isn't is saved by grace, but these passages are not gray. These passages are very, very directful. And in fact, so much so God sent three um, prophets to try to get these points across. And if he doesn't get them across, he's going to destroy the nation. So anyway, I feel like it's very akin to the world I live in today. It was on my heart. It was spoken to me uh, to maybe do this video about this. So I'm going to shut up about this, and that's enough Bible for the fireside chat. But I kind of wanted to start this and kind of get this out of the way, and we can kind of go back to gentle fireside chats now. So I wrote down two other things to talk about today. And just as an open admission, this is me. This is the pot calling the kettle black, okay? So I suffer from these two things very muchly if I don't pay attention to them. So the first one is we are roughest on those closest to us. It's for some reason it almost seems the opposite. Our spouses, our kids, our family, our closest friends, we tend to behave and speak to those people, in our harshest tones, intonations, the words we use. I think we let our guards down. I think, well, we have such a good relationship. I shouldn't have to guard how I act. I shouldn't have to guard the words I choose. I shouldn't have to pay attention to my tone of voice or the the volume of my voice or the intonation in my voice. And I just want to put out there that it's in my life's experience, my life has gone much better these last 10 or 12 years. Again, I started this journey back in 2012, so it's been a 12-year journey, and I'm still not at the end of it. I mean, that's the definition of a journey, probably, is there is no, the journey is the destination. But my life goes much better, and the divine wind is at my back when I am most careful of how I treat those closest to me, how I talk to Anne-Marie late at night when I'm tired, and she's picked the one time of the day she knows I'm worst at, that she wants to, bring some. I'm trying to go to bed at 10 o'clock. She goes, "Hey, I want to talk for a minute." Like, you got to be kidding me. I've been sitting next to you for 2 hours, and we had dinner together, and now you want to bring it up? I mean, that's not conducive to a good relationship when I do that. Or when our kids ask a question, and we either act like it's a pain in the ass for us to talk to them at this moment, or they're asking a question you think is stupid, or they're asking about a subject that you don't think they should be talking about. So anyway, or our friends, or those closest to us at work, or those who report to us at work, or those we report to at work, we tend to treat differently, and usually worse. It's been my observations that most people have this disorder, and it's just, something that needs to be worked on. And it's something that I would ask you to evaluate. Again, it's none of my business. I don't need to know any of these answers. The question is, how do you treat those closest to you? Even in your weak moments, your down moments, your sick moments, your tired moments, do you treat them with respect and love and courtesy? Do you try to see kind of their side of the conversation and their side of the questions before you blast away. So anyway, just so you know, I told you I was the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, I was the king of this. I was the king of bringing home 5 pounds of work dynamite and blowing my wife up at home, or bringing home 5 pounds of work dynamite and blowing my kids up. I mean, I was the king of that. And in my professional world and in my political world, if you were an asshole and you needed someone to tell you you're an asshole, I was your man. And I have really worked hard to no longer be there. It's still in me. I guess that's something I will never be able to actually kill, but I can feel it now. And I'm not perfect, and I never will be. But my brain to thought to mouth filters are much thicker than they used to be. So anyway, I just thought out there as something to ponder while you're sitting around having your pipes. So I got one more chat subject, and then we'll drift into the grab bag of who knows what. Um, the other thing is, when we are recent converts, either to cigars or to pipes or to exercise or to religion or whatever it is, or to getting up early in the morning, or whatever it is that we've been a fairly recent convert to, if we're not careful, we're the worst. We're like, oh man, everyone around me's got to do it now. Um, I've taken on religion and religious readings. Well, everyone I know should be reading the Bible now. Yeah, I'm even a little bit guilty of doing that with you guys. I'm always beating on you. Read the Bible. Read the Bible. I'm 3 years in, and I am just evangelizing. Read the Bible. Well, that meant for 56 years I didn't really read the Bible. So I just or if you're a cigarette smoker and you give up smoking, you're the worst about wanting everyone around you to quit smoking. So, or if you take up exercise, or if you lose weight, it's so easy to, in your mind, say, well, I want this for other people. And so you just start being kind of a pain in the ass evangelist about it. And I will warn you that I think we actually push people off the fence. Like if somebody's kind of on the fence and is like, hey, I like what I'm seeing, I think I'm gonna read the Bible, and we just jackhammer away at them, I know in my family that has the opposite effect. So if you're a recent convert to Christ or Christianity or religion or whatever, however you say it in your heart, the more you jackhammer away your spouse or your children or your friends that they've got to do it too, you may end up actually having the opposite result. You may not be realizing it. So that'll be my last preachy one for the day is, are you, again, I don't need to know the answers, but you do. Are you jackhammering away on somebody and you're actually solidifying the cement in their feet or the fence pole in their ass? Or are you even knocking them off the fence and you're pushing them away from what you are hoping to achieve in them? I realize some of you may need to go get your spouse and have them listen to that part. Because you're like, see that? You're doing that to me and I don't like it. Maybe it's easier for them to hear me say it, and then you have a conversation after it, then you trying to start it, or maybe it'll make it worse. Who knows? Anyway, that's it. Well, it's been about 40 minutes. The sun is setting. The breeze has died down. The fire's doing great. My cigar is actually burning well now. So life on this side of the camera has improved substantially in the last half an hour. Looks like I might throw a couple extra logs on the fire here in a minute. My evening videos take forever to upload. They don't take so long to process, but the upload process has gone from a half an hour to 5 hours. I don't know why. The processing doesn't seem to take as long as you would think with that kind of upload time, but I don't know if it's just the time so many people are uploading videos, and that's part of the issue. Because the ones like I did the video on loan or debt consolidation, and it uploaded and processed in less than an hour. So, but I did it like at 2 or 3 o'clock. So by the time I get this done, I'm uploading it at 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. Yeah, it could take another 6 hours. I know several of you commented that it didn't go live until like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I started that thing up at 6, 7 o'clock last night. So that's 6, 7 hours of upload and processing time. So I don't think it's our content. Most of it isn't that controversial. I mean, I don't think the drone stuff was that controversial. I don't know. I just wanted to say I'm aware of it, but I don't want to shift these earlier in the day. One, it doesn't fit in my day, and it's just weird to have a fire at noon. It just doesn't. It's not nearly as fun. And when there's bright sun overhead, it's not as fun. I like it in the sunset. So hopefully it doesn't keep getting worse. We'll see. So I put up that debt consolidation video this afternoon. It was Bill Keach that asked the question, but I sensed others may need it. I'll just come straight out and say there's a better way to handle that kind of debt than a debt consolidation loan, but it just depends on if you could do it or not. It's Dave Ramsey's. I think he calls it the debt ladder. Don't bust me up too bad on what Dave Ramsey calls it. And I know a lot of people don't like Dave Ramsey, and I've heard a lot of people complain. They say he debt shames, and I mean maybe that's true, but I'm okay with that. I mean, debt's one of the most dangerous things in the world, and it's a thing that truly puts you in slavery mode. But the concept of the debt ladder is a better way to climb out of your debt. If you have multiple layers of debt, the thing to do is pick the debt with the smallest balance on it and get it paid off, and then take the payment from that lowest debt balance and apply it to the next one. So if you're paying 10 things off at $100 a month, get the last one paid off, the smallest one paid off, and apply that $100 to the next one. So now that one's getting $200 a month. And when that gets paid off, the next one gets $300 a month. And you can accelerate it. And by the time you're 4 or 5 up, you got $500-600 a month now, or 5 or 6 times what you're used to paying on it going to that debt. When you use debt consolidation services, they charge a fee, and you saw it can be like 7%. So you're actually adding to your debt load, right? Because none of your debts shrink, they get added together into a single loan, and then you pay these guys like 7% for the loan origination fees. So your debt actually goes up 7% before you start paying on it. But some people can't do that. Some people cannot see that lowest rung and think, I can't ever get that paid off. I'm drowning in this. So, rather than drown and go to full bankruptcy, which just ruins your life for 7 years, and I think it's longer than that now. Rather than drowning in the debt, go to the debt consolidation services. So, but if you can pull off Dave Ramsey's debt ladder, I would do that first. All right, you guys have asked me to put the dogs in the video, so I'm not gonna let them out because I want to do the chasing thing. But here's Echo, just looking like so sad. There's my boy Chance. How you doing, buddy? Echo, you want to come say hi to everybody? Huh? Here you go. Hi, buddy. Echo. That's my girl. She's 4. Oh, little Chance, come here, buddy. Come here. Anyway, that's Chance, the white one, and Echo's the golden. Chance is a cream golden, or an English golden retriever. He's 10. Anyway, this one's a little spunky. I'd let her out, but this is the one to run away. She's like, this is the one that's 98% good and 2% just rotten. And so the rotten part comes out if I let her loose. She just runs away. So literally, if I let her out of the gate, she'd just run down over that edge and just be gone. So that's why they don't show up in the videos a whole lot, other than an inside the fence shot. So I want to show you guys the sun is setting, but what I really wanted to show you was what it looks like back here in the trees. Sunset in the forest. Always that light is so cool looking. Just all the tree trunks lit up. It normally looks like this a couple weeks a year because the sun has to get far enough north to shine on here, and it has to be before all the trees leave out, because when the trees leaf out, here, I'll go back around for you. See, when those trees all leaf out in the next 4 weeks, you won't be able to see anything. You can't see, I mean, literally, it's an impenetrable wall of leaves, so the sun can't get back here for sunset. So anyway, it's only about 3-4 weeks a year. Anyway, just thought it was really cool. I wanted you to see it. So I guess as a tobacco buying addict, I should come clean on some purchases today. Because of Uncle Willie's video today, I actually went out and found some Rever plug and got it ordered. They had 3, so I ordered it and had it shipped in. We'll see if it actually gets here. If it does, I'll let you know. But that was kind of cool to find. And then, because of Bull Moose, Justin, I ordered a pound of the Simply Orange. And they said it was out of stock, but they let me order a pound of Simply Red. Both got order numbers, so we'll see if it gets here. But anyway, there's 3 tobacco orders today into the paddock, and I clearly don't need to be ordering tobacco. Because of Greg, I 10-10'd that maple. Can't remember what it was called, but that maple that he likes so much, I got a 10-10 of that, and it got here. So I still have my buying problem. I know we call it pipe acquisition disorder. Do we have tobacco acquisition disorder? I've never seen that on any of your channels, but I definitely feel like I have it. Anyway, thought I better come clean on it. And I'm digging the flags in my background at the paddock. I don't do too many videos from it right now, but you guys saw Old Glory show up, and it's a formal presentation flag. So I might order a few more of those because I like the idea of having a wall of Old Glory behind me, and then occasionally I'll use what you saw today. My kind of my Jolly Roger with swords was a good one to have up. And then if you watched my Freedom Friday video last Friday, you saw the other one I'm hanging up. They're all up, but they need sand in the base. That'll happen tomorrow. But my Second Amendment Jolly Roger. So every now and then you'll see Old Glory in the back, and then sometimes you'll see my failure to comply background. Not really sure what to call it yet. Maybe that'll be how I show what my attitude is that day, by what flags I have in the back. Anyway, it's just fun. It's an inexpensive way to change the background of your videos, just put up these little flags. All right, guys, and we've come to the end of another Fireside Chat. I've nubbied my Partix Black, which I've never done before. I thought, rather than, you don't need to be looking at me. So we'll end this the same way we always do. May God bless you. May God bless those around you and close to you. May God turn his ear towards your prayer. May God bless you in your life as well as he has blessed me, and may he make his face shine upon you guys. What a no better image than to say that to you than as God puts the sun to bed for the night. Guys, I love these things. I'm never more relaxed than I'm at the end of my cigar and my end of my hour with you guys. Anyway, I love these fireside chats. May hopefully your Wednesday was good and you have a good Wednesday night. And we will talk again tomorrow on Thursday. Goodbye, everybody.